Is day 3 in the murder retrial of Linda Stermer. This is the second trial for the Van Buren County woman accused of setting her own house on fire and then running her husband Todd Stermer over with a van, killing him. And the first witnesses took the stand today, telling the jury what they saw on that night back in 2007. News Channel 3's Colin Roos has more on the case that's been years in the making.
Linda Stermer was emotional during opening statements in her second trial in the death of her husband. She was given a life sentence in 2010 before a federal judge overturned that conviction. Today, jurors got their first glimpse of what happened that day in January 2007. Prosecuting attorney Susan Zeiderveen began this morning discussing the witnesses who will take the stand. They include Stermer's neighbors, her own sons, and those who spent years investigating the case. Zeiderveen says she plans to show how Stermer's explanations of what happened were not consistent in the months after Todd's death.
You'll hear how everything starts changing. Blame starts being shifted. Stories, statements, explanations continue to change.
Meanwhile, the defense called the fire a tragic accident. Attorney Skip Kelly said there were multiple flammable sources in the home, including candles, lamps, and a fuel furnace, pointing to one of them as the cause of the fire. He also laid blame on insurance investigators, saying they contributed to a rush to judgment to blame Stermer.
They went on every degree of a witch hunt that you can imagine.
The prosecution called witnesses that were on scene the day of the fire to describe what they saw on the rainy evening, including law enforcement and neighbors. Pictures of tire tracks at the Stermer home, along with the van and a spot on the front bumper described as blood. Van Buren County Sheriff Gary Gruss testified that Stermer told him she was doing laundry that day when she saw the fire and ran out the front door. He said Todd also made it outside and saw him on the ground badly burned and unresponsive.
When you say the burns were severe, what was your observation of his injuries?
He had no hair on his body, the skin on his fingers.
Todd was found at the scene wearing only sweatpants, underwear, and socks, which were later found to contain gasoline after testing. Much of the questioning revolved around whether or not that gasoline was the accelerant used to start the fire. The defense countered that there could have been cross-contamination from clothing that neighbor Mike Matheny, who worked at a used auto parts store, placed on top of Todd to keep him warm.
You did not notice an odor of gasoline or any other petroleum product emanating from Todd Stermer before you put his clothes on him, fair?
I did not.
Now, with 18 years separating the fire from this trial, there is much more testimony to come. We have all the background for you on our website, and of course, we'll continue to follow this case in the weeks to come. In Van Buren County, Colin Roos, News Channel 3.